Okay, calm down.
So we have another clip I want to show you because it's just interesting to see how Israeli politicians and PR people do their job. So this is the deputy mayor of occupied Jerusalem and founder of the UAE Israel Business Council, Fleur Hassan Nahum, talking on a British show about the shooting and killing of a woman and her daughter in a church in Gaza. Let's hear what she has to say.
The ceasefire means the return of the hostages and the dismantlement of a genocidal regime that has stated that they're going to attack us again, then everybody would be in favor of a ceasefire. But if a ceasefire means that we're just going to keep them quiet for a bit until they attack again, then it's Israel's obligation to defend its citizens and destroy that threat, don't you think?
Why is it necessary, it is reported, to start shooting, having snipers outside a church?
I saw the reports this morning. The church, there are no churches in Gaza, so I'm not quite sure where the report is talking about.
There's a Catholic church in there, isn't there? That is.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are no Christians because they were driven out by.
Well, respectfully, there are Christians because I spoke to an MP yesterday who has family members in the church who are Christians.
Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know who was attacked. I didn't see the report.
So she says she saw the report. Then she says she didn't see the report.
Right,
she
exactly.
says there are no churches. Then there are actually no Christians. And then she actually, so then let's take a look at her tweet because she obviously was being called out on this. So she tweeted, I've received a number of comments on this, so I want to clear things up. I said there are no churches in Gaza, but what I meant to say and afterwards said is that there are almost no Christians in Gaza. No, you didn't say almost Christians. You said you didn't say almost no Christians. You said there are no Christians in Gaza. We're talking a few hundred in a population of over 2 million. And the reason for that is simple. Gaza has been ruled by the Muslim Brotherhood for nearly 2 decades and have systematically ethnically cleansed its Christians. That should bother anyone who cares about preserving and protecting the Christians of this land as I do. Okay, so the way you're protecting these Christians is by shooting them.
Exactly. I mean, that is so vintage Israeli doublespeak, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that really no one would, no good analyst, no serious analyst would take, in any kind of any credibility whatsoever. So my response to what she's saying, that whether it's Christians or Muslims, you should not kill innocent people in any place of worship, in any place, period. You should not target men, women, and their kid, their daughter, whatever, because you feel that they are a threat to you. Right. Even if in fact they were taking shelter in this place, it doesn't matter what this place is, whether it's a church or a mosque or a synagogue or school or anywhere or a home, for crying out loud. I mean, the Israelis just went into Jenin the other day. They destroyed a home. They tied people and they put things around their eyes and so on. And they do all kinds of awful things. And then they sat around smoking, water pipe and all this thing. And they really said, we will investigate. Israel has been investigating their transgressions or the soldiers' transgressions forever, and they have never, ever come with any conclusion. I mean, it's probably the only time it happened when they burned the who were all alive. Sometime back in 2016, when the settlers burned the whole family, and now I think he or the perpetrator may be out of prison. So it's Israel does not have a good record of investigating itself. It is an issue that I raised many times in the State Department briefing when they say that Israel investigate itself, but they never conclude. Or if they conclude, they say that it's a slap on the wrist. So I think we can go and look at all the cases where Israel found its soldiers guilty, and they were fined maybe like $5 or $10 or something. So the point that I'm trying to make, Katie, is that Israel does not have a good track record of investigating what they do. They claim to, and they come after the fact, as you mentioned with Shirin Abu Akleh. The first thing they said was she was the victim of a Palestinian terrorist shot at her and killed her. Then they said she was caught in the crossfire. Then they said, okay, no, we did it, but we had no intention of doing so, and so on. So that's how every time that's how the story evolves. The same thing when they bombed and the Baptist hospital in Gaza on October 17th. The same thing when they said, the Shifa hospital. They kept saying it's a headquarter for Hamas, and then they showed us some silly calendar that had the rotation of the doctors, who's going to be when, and so on. Then we had no less than the former Israeli Prime Minister himself, Ehud Barak, come out on Christiane Amanpour show and tell her, we built this bunker. So it's always the same thing. I mean, Israel knows exactly what it's doing in Gaza. They probably think that this is the best way to make Gaza uninhabitable and to drive the people out, whether Egypt wants to take them or not now, or they say they want to take them or not. Ultimately, people cannot live in a place where it is uninhabitable. And that's what they're turning Gaza into. I mean, this is the stark reality. They're trying to drive the Palestinians out. This is a continuation of the Nakba of 1948. There are no two ways about it. And they do this, totally empowered by the United States of America.